Path of Exile, Dawn of the Hunt. Content reveal. This will be live April the 4th, I believe. We are not sponsored by GGG, but we're probably gonna be checking it out anyway. Because it's good fun. I think PoE is good fun. PoE 2 is good fun. People for the longest time complained about, oh, I don't have content. This is a big patch coming up. Anyway, Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt content reveal. Let's see what they're cooking for the April 4th release.
Exile 2. Welcome to GGG Live. Well, it's been a little over 3 months since we launched Early Access.
That's right.
So it's about time for our first major content update.
About goddamn
Today,
time.
we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt, which launches on April 4th.
Okay.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Executioner's Guillotine finisher effect.
What?
Now in today's stream, we're going to take you on a deep dive into the new Dawn of the Hunt update. Claim your Executioner's Guillotine
That is cool.
finisher effect. Now in today's stream, we're going to take you on a deep dive into the new Dawn of the Hunt update. We'll cover a new class, 5 new ascendancy classes, and huge expansions on character systems like unique items and support gems.
Right.
After that, it's on to the in-game improvements, including changes to systems, a bunch of new encounters, and lots of other content. We're going to finish up today with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile 2's game directors, myself and Mark,
let's see what's new
from Twitch chat. Now we have a lot to cover today, so let's get started with a trailer for Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt.
Let's take a look at it.
We as Mary are guided by the Spirit. It provides prey,
It's the
shelter,
Huntress, right? The new
even
class.
love.
She's like the
But for me,
Diablo
one
2
day,
Amazon situation.
all that were changed. The Spirit, it showed me something.
No, this is...
Something for...
So, here's the thing. PoE does not do DLC, usually. PoE, this is just content. They'll be adding content. This is new stuff. And usually it's all free. Everything is free. So, the reason it's not free right now is because the game is not out. So, the early access, you can get access to the game if you pay like... you get a pack, you know, a founder's pack situation where you like the game, you want to contribute to it. And so one of the offers of the pack, beyond other things that you get access to, is access to the early access game. And during this early access, the idea is that they have some time to cook some stuff. They have some time to improve the systems, to see what works, what doesn't, and then they can start releasing more and more. Bear in mind that PoE 1, Path of Exile 1, was like this for a long time. And so people, I find it funny when people look at this and they complain, oh, PoE 2 does not have enough endgame content, or the content is lacking. Just fucking let them cook. Everything is free. What the hell do you want more? Like, chill out. This is not, they're not asking for you to pay for it. You don't need to pay, you just need to wait. So let's see what they cooked here. Because there's a lot of content. A lot of people are happy about it, and a lot of people are not, but they're just bitches, okay? They're just little bitches that cannot wait. Jesus, the game has been in early access for, like, what, 3 months, right? Chill the fuck out. It's all free. It's all gonna be free. If you wait a bit, everything is gonna be free anyway. So, let's see what they're cooking for April 4th.
Bidden. And to defend
New
our
class,
love,
Huntress.
I used
Oh,
it.
hell yeah. This is kind of cool, right?
I lost
A javelin?
everything that day.
Oh, she found a skill
But
gem.
fate weren't finished with me yet.
That's the story. She found a skill gem, used the power, and they banished her.
I'll right the wrongs I've done. I'll do what I must, no matter the cost. I will hear the Spirit once more.
Spear fighting. Spear and buckler. God damn. That's a mount? That's a rower mount! Oh! Oh! What? 25 new skills? That's a lot.
Don't make me kill you. I shall make
Rogue Exiles. 100 new unique items and support gems? Oh wow. We're back. We're so back, baby. Now we're cooking. We're cooking with fire. With gas, I should say. Dawn of the Hunt. Play on PC and consoles 12 PM for April
As
the
you
4th.
can see, in Dawn of the Hunt, we're introducing the first new
kind of
class
sick.
since early access to PoE 2, the Huntress.
Yeah.
The Huntress is a spear-wielding Asmeri warrior.
It's like the Amazon
Born
in
into a
Diablo
society
2,
with
right?
strict traditions, she was exiled from her homeland after using the power of a skill gem
Oh,
to
there you
defend
go.
her village. As a dexterous spear user, she specializes in both melee and ranged combat, dashing into and out of battle.
That's kind of neat.
Spears
It's kind
have
of in
extended
between.
range and a short dash, but unlike other melee weapons, you can also throw them.
It's kind of hybrid, yeah.
In
Between
order to make a
ranged
hybrid
and
range
melee?
and melee character work, we had to do a lot of thinking about ways to make it fun to both enter and exit melee range. The first skill you will get as a Huntress is Whirling Slash. As well as striking in a circle around you, this skill creates a whirlwind that blinds your enemies. Leaving the whirlwind will make it explode.
Okay.
The more Whirling Slash is used, the bigger the whirlwind, and the bigger the explosion.
It's kind of nice. So it makes
Once
you,
you're out of there,
gives
you'll
you
want to follow up
a
with
reason
something
to
ranged.
go in and go out,
Whip
right?
your spear around to shoot twisters towards your foes. These twisters bounce off walls and can hit enemies multiple times. You can also throw twisters inside a whirlwind to shoot out extra tornadoes that do
Oh,
way
so
more
interacts with a whirlwind, so that...
damage. In her offhand,
That's cool.
the Huntress will usually want to hold a buckler, which allows you to do a new skill, Parry. While holding down Parry, your character will counterattack any incoming attack from monsters near you, stunning them. In addition, the monsters will take extra attack damage from your follow-up strike. Some specific skills are designed to be used after a
What? We got parry now? Oh, this is looking better and better. This is like, you know, almost like a Souls-like mechanic now. Because the combat was already going in that direction, but... let me look at this again.
enemies multiple times. You can also throw twisters inside a whirlwind to shoot out extra
Yeah,
tornadoes.
so this
that do way
encourages
more
going
damage.
in and out of melee range, right?
In her offhand, the Huntress will usually want to hold a buckler, which allows you to do
Parry.
a new skill, Parry. While holding down Parry, your character will counterattack any incoming attack from monsters near you, stunning them.
That's cool.
In addition, the monsters will take extra attack damage from your follow-up strike.
That is cool.
Some specific skills are designed to be used after a parry and have extra effects.
Oh my god.
Disengage is a skill that does a quick jump back, damaging
I
enemies
see.
in front of you, and it can be used to interrupt other actions, like dodge roll. If you use it against a parried enemy though, it causes an explosion and gives you a frenzy charge.
God damn.
Just be careful. If you parry too much, you're going to get stunned and possibly killed. You can combine this combo with Whirling Slash. Slash, parry, disengage.
Oh, there's
and you'll
the-
get an explosion
the
with
stagger bar,
disengage
right?
And the Whirling Slash.
You have the stagger bar in the bottom,
The Huntress also has a variety of
above the
elemental spear
potions,
throw attacks.
above the flasks.
You could use Lightning Spear to bounce lightning between your foes.
That's cool.
Or you could throw explosive spears into the ground. These spears take a while to detonate, but when they do, they'll incinerate anyone caught in the blast.
Like elemental spears.
All spear throws on the Huntress can also be empowered by frenzy charges. For example, explosive spears will do an even larger explosion and leave
Damn.
fire on the ground. And these empowered versions can activate even more combos.
It's like the mechanics on the
Using
monk,
Whirling Slash
remember?
over
The Frost
ground
Monk
fire
that we
will
played?
Suck it into the whirlwind, adding fire to the explosion.
Where the
Using twisters
lightning
inside a fire
has a
whirlwind will
different
shoot out
effect
fire
if it's
tornadoes as well.
empowered.
And you
By
can do
those
similar
charges.
combos with ice and lightning too.
That's fucking cool.
Now, a key aspect of hunting is exhausting your foes by causing blood loss. This skill is Rake, which dashes towards your target and unleashes a deadly slash, opening up wounds on your enemies. Follow up with disengage and watch them bleed out as they
That's
run
cool.
towards you.
Bleeding
On the health
mechanics.
bar of monsters, you can see how much blood loss the enemy has experienced, and the Huntress has skills to take advantage of this. For example, using Blood Hunt will thrust forward and cause a bloody explosion. The more blood loss, the bigger the explosion.
I see. So you want to build up
If you want to
blood
cause
loss
bigger
and then
bleeds,
finish
try
it. You
out
have the
Rapid
finishers.
Assault.
Right?
The final hit of this multi-hit combo will stick a spear into your enemy for a big bleed. Now, explosive spear and rapid
Oh,
assault
wait, it
both
actually
result in leaving
sticks the
spears
spear
behind,
in them.
either in the ground or an enemy. Try out rapid assault.
Look.
The final hit of this multi-hit combo will stick a spear into your enemy
That's
for
cool.
a big bleed. Now, explosive spear and rapid assault both result in leaving spears behind, either in the ground or in enemies. But there are other skills that leave spears around too, like
Wait, can they interact? Like, can you have? I bet you can have like skills that interact with the spears, because the spears explode. But I bet there's like stuff that allows you to interact with those, right?
Storm Lance that leaves an electrical spear that arcs towards enemies.
Right.
But what can you do with all these spears? Detonate them, of course. Thunderous Leap will allow you to jump onto and explode any spears either in the ground or in your enemies.
That's cool.
Now, as well as hunting
Very
animals,
cool mechanics.
the Huntress also has the ability to work with them. While fighting any beast, you have the ability to tame it and use it as a companion.
Pokemon now?
You can only have one companion at a time, but it will keep the mods that were on it. Try
Oh
to
my
find a
god.
rare
So we can find, yeah, we can find like a rare enemy. Like if we are fighting one that is super tough.
beast with good mods to take full advantage of your ability to tame them.
What?
Now, this is just the beginning of the Huntress. We've really tried to make the hybrid ranged and melee gameplay work for this class by having a huge amount of synergy between
Kinda
ranged and melee
looks dope.
options. There are 22 new skills available for the Huntress. By endgame, you'll be slinging hundreds of insanely powerful spears, sending forth spirit animals and summoning the might of Solaris from the sky.
But we still haven't talked about ascendancy classes yet.
Oh, did you see that spear?
There are 22 new skills available for the Huntress. By endgame, you'll be slinging hundreds of insanely powerful spears, sending forth spirit animals and summoning the might of Solaris from the sky.
Look. Like a solar
We still
ray.
haven't talked about ascendancy classes yet.
Okay.
What can the Huntress ascend into?
Well, the first Ascension class you could choose is the Ritualist.
Right.
The Ritualist has embraced the darker side of his merry traditions by harnessing the power of animal sacrifice and plague.
Oh, like
The corrupted
contagion,
life
right?
force skill causes all enemies around you to grow volatile blood boils on their skin.
That is
When
cool.
those enemies are slain, the boils will burst, spreading corrupted blood to all enemies around them.
Ooh.
The Ritualist also excels in taking advantage of magical trinkets. The Unfurled Finger skill allows you to equip an additional ring on a finger around your neck.
You
Taking
get a
Mystic
spear.
Attunement
You
increases
get a
the bonuses
spear.
of all the rings and amulets
And you
have
get a
equipped.
spear. Oh, you can have more
Now, this is one
rings?
of my
That is
favorites.
crazy.
As the Whispers Ask grants you a new skill, Ritual Sacrifice. Use the skill on the corpses of slain rare monsters to absorb the power in their blood,
What?
to give you one of their modifiers for a short time. Specialize further into Ritualistic Sacrifice with As the
You
Whispers
can-
Demand,
you can suck
which
the
allows
buffs
you to
out of
perform
them.
that skill on yourself instead of a corpse. Cut your own hand, sacrificing some of your own blood to empower yourself. The Amazon Ascension is for those looking to hunt more than just beasts. Trained as an elite guard to the most
Right.
important as merry elders, the Amazon will use more traditional fighting techniques mastered to perfection. The Predatory Instinct skill will cause you to reveal weaknesses in the defenses of rare and unique enemies, causing you to deal more damage. You can see those weak spots represented on their life bars.
Right.
While using Elemental Infusion, any charges you consume will infuse your weapon with elemental power, causing any projectile attacks to
I'm
explode.
not sure I
on
understand this mechanic.
weaknesses in the defenses of traditional fighting techniques mastered to perfection.
The weakness situation.
The Predatory Instinct skill
Okay, is it like these zones, while you are these, you deal more damage? Is that what's going on?
will cause you to reveal weaknesses in the defenses of rare and unique enemies, causing you to deal more damage. You can see those weak spots represented on their life bars.
Must be, right? Yeah. So you attack with your big PP damage on while you are at those spots. That's
While
kind of
using
cool.
Elemental Infusion, any charges you consume will infuse your weapon with elemental power, causing any projectile attacks to explode on impact.
And the parry as well.
The Critical
parry's
Strike
kind of
skill is as simple as
neat.
it sounds. It takes your excess accuracy and gives it to you as critical strike chance. Additionally, you have skills like Mystic Harvest, which allows your elemental damage to leech life, and as Merry Brew to be able to use either flask to restore both life and mana.
So those are the 2 new ascendancies for the Huntress.
That's a lot of
But
sustained
those are
damage.
not the only ascendancies in Dawn of the Hunt. We've added a new ascension class for 3 of the other existing classes too.
First up, for our
Warrior?
warriors out there,
Let's
we
go.
have the Smith of Katava. The warrior is a blacksmith in origin, taught by his father Renly. With this ascension, you can take your smithing skills to new heights by embracing power from the insatiable one himself, Kitava.
This looks kind of cool. This reminds me of the that class that we had in last epoch. Remember that one? There's a class that is like this. It's like specializes in weapons and stuff.
Smiths of Katava
Super
are
tanky
master
and-
blacksmiths and have the ability to forge their weapons.
This is kinda
quite
cool, though.
literally. Using the Against the Anvil notable skill, you can
Oh, hell
enhance
yeah.
your weapon with fiery destruction before any battle. After doing so, your attacks will release explosions on hit for maximum devastation. You can also use the
Spirit
power
weapon?
of Kitava to summon an animated copy of your weapon to fight alongside you.
Yeah, spirit weapon.
A great blacksmith can do more than just forging their weapon, though. Their armor can be enhanced too. Now, you might think this Ascendancy class tree looks a little abnormal,
Yeah,
and
it's
you're right.
disconnected.
There's a lot of notable skills all disconnected at the bottom there. By taking this point here, which is free to assign, your character is unable to equip body armors with mods of any kind.
Oh,
So your body armor must be normal. Sounds like a downside, right?
yeah.
Except now in true blacksmith fashion, you get to craft your own body armor by taking those disconnected notables with your points.
Oh wow.
If
So
you
you
want your
can
body armor to grind
actually usually you take stuff and you roll for the stats that you want, right? Because you want to find that perfect item for your build. But instead here, you're not allowed to wear anything with mods, so you need to wear like normal stuff, but then you select the mods in the tree.
grant life, take this notable. If you want resistances, take this one. There's so many choices. Think of it like you're crafting your own body armor, just in a more literal sense.
Oh wow.
Now, let's
I
move on
wonder
to
I wonder like how balanced this is. Like do we have as much good stuff from that as if we pick, what if we get good items and we pick other points instead? Do you know what I mean? But maybe if the skills give you better stuff than the items ever could, maybe it's gonna be interesting.
those who prefer the reassuring feel of a crossbow. in
Like, do
their
you pick a
hands.
good
Then
item
this
and
is-
invest in other points, or do you
Alongside
pick
the
like
existing
the
ascension
exact?
classes, the Gemling Legionnaire and the Witch Hunter, you can now play as the Tactician. The Tactician is a former
Tactician.
Blackguard elite. Free from the duties of a Blackguard, he is able to use his training to decimate the monsters of Rayclast and earn a healthy income doing so. This training comes in the form of various skills like suppressing fire, which causes all projectiles to pin enemies.
Oh, it stuns
When combined
everyone.
with the right where we want them notable, your pin not only stops your enemies from moving, but stops them from performing actions too.
It
Someone
doesn't.
freeze.
They can't cast.
With a soldier's training, the Tactician also works well cooperatively. Using the whoever pays best notable, you can place multiple banners at once.
Oh wow.
The watch how we do it skill gives a portion of your weapon's damage to your allies as well.
I haven't tried
But
co-op
if that
yet.
isn't enough, you can also command your army of off-screen archers to unleash hell and carpet an entire area with arrows.
That is crazy. It's like you
Finally,
have
Witch
friends.
players will be able to join their legions by becoming
Look at this art style on the.
undead themselves. In Dawn
This
of
is
the
the
Hunt,
Witch,
we're
right?
introducing the Lich Ascension class.
The Lich.
The Lich is a master of chaos and curses and could sacrifice her life to enhance her energy shield. The crystalline phylactery skill allows you to nominate a jewel in which to contain part of your soul, massively increasing its power. There's just one downside to splitting your soul this way though. If you have no energy shield, your mana costs will shoot up.
It's
The
still
necromantic
cool though.
conduit
The
skill
idea.
causes you and allies in your presence to have unholy might, granting extra damage as chaos damage. Rupture the Soul makes enemies you curse explode with chaos damage when slain.
Okay.
Dominion over Flesh allows you to apply an additional curse.
So it's all about curses
It's
and,
safe
and
to say you'll be a true
comboing
master of the
those.
occult by choosing the Lich class.
So Dawn of the Hunt has the Huntress and 5 new Ascension classes, but it doesn't end there. Let's take a look at some of the new skills we've added.
Now you may remember we previously talked about the Raise Spectre skill. It's finally complete and it will be made available in the upcoming expansion.
Raise Spectre.
It can be found in the occult skills on the skill gem crafting panel. Raise Spectre is a skill that allows you to trap the soul of almost any monster in the game.
We can play solo leveling in PoE too. Guys.
Which you can then summon in the skill panel.
That is cool.
Spectres cost spirit and will revive automatically if they die, but the spirit cost varies based on the power of the monster. You could summon an army of weaker monsters,
Yeah.
or a few of the more powerful monsters.
Oh my god, you can
combine them with your
actually.
existing skeleton minions, or summon exclusively spectres.
But there's so many monsters, so that in essence, you can, from all the monsters in the game, all the creatures, you can choose which ones you want, and then combine them with your build. That is sick. That is very cool.
It's all up to you and how you want to customize your army of the undead. Given that there are hundreds upon hundreds of monster variants in Path of Exile 2,
Yeah.
it's safe to say you'll be experimenting with this one for a while.
Holy
We look
crap!
forward
Yeah,
to seeing
for
which
sure.
monsters serve you best. Now let's move on to our next skill.
Oh look,
Since we've been talking about summoning undead so much, let's have a change of pace and summon something a little more alive.
a mount.
In Dawn of the Hunt, we're adding the Summon Rower skill.
Oh, specifically
Summon your
rower.
friendly rower to aid you in combat as a minion. You can also mount your rower in combat at any time, allowing you to move at full speed even while shooting arrows or throwing spears.
We can get a mount.
Scary though, if you take too much damage while riding your mount, you can be knocked off and get overwhelmed. It's worth keeping an eye on your stagger bar, as falling off the mount can mean almost certain death.
Yeah.
On the
GG.
topic of new ways to enhance your character, let's talk about support gems. Support gems are used to modify your skill gems in meaningful and interesting ways. Currently, we feel that a lot of builds have insufficient options here.
Yeah,
To alleviate
I felt
this,
that too.
we're adding over 100 new support gems.
That's insane, though. Okay. it's like we feel that the builds don't have enough. It's not flexible enough. You know, we feel that people are lacking in their creative endeavors. We need more support gems, so we're adding more than 100 support skill gems. That's crazy. Like, holy crap. I mean, they do have a lot of experience from PoE 1, so they can draw from that, from what they had in the past, and they can draw from that and then add it to this game and see how it goes, right?
Hema crystals will enable a new kind of bleed build, turning the damage over time you would have done into explosive Vile crystals.
That's kind of cool.
Alignment is a support gem for bow attacks, which can reward skilled players with good positional skills. Caltrops will allow you to litter the battlefield with hazards, slowing your foes as you fling spears through their ranks.
Okay.
But there's plenty more for every playstyle, such as Enormity, Unsteady Tempo,
Supports melee attack, use yourself. Attacking with supported will cycle through various effects with the first attack, inflicting hobble on you. The second, what the hell is hobble? You need to hover. The second attacks will powerful scale to critical hit and overall damage, respectively. Okay, and the cycle reset. That's kind of cool. You can. Okay, so it's just more options to that will enable different kinds of builds, right? 50. What the hell is hobble? I don't know what hobble is, but. Oh, but this is good for a frost mode.
Profanity,
Previously, there was like one option.
Retaliate,
Oh, this would be Bean's. Wait,
Syzygy.
giant ass
that's a
hammer.
real- Profanity,
This is like a curse one, right? Support, use yourself supports consume a corpse on use, dealing more chaos damage. If they do, cannot support triggers. Okay.
Retaliate,
This would be Bean's favorite. This is like Bean's playstyle. Giant ass hammer comes from the sky. There we go. Bonk.
Syzygy. Yep, that's a real word.
Syzygy?
And many more.
Now, we've talked about a new class,
Right.
new ascendancy classes, new skills, and new support gems. But let's not forget about the core of a true action RPG, the items.
To start with, let's talk about uniques. We're adding over 100 new unique items. This time, we've made sure to add uniques with a focus on mid and endgame tiers to make sure there are more exciting items to find for higher level characters. Let's look at some examples.
That is cool.
Embrace your inner devil with Chernobog's Pillar. It grants you a large amount of fire damage based on your block chance. The Coming Calamity allows you to become a true master of the elements, granting you all 3 Elemental Herald skills without costing any spirit. At the same time,
Oh, wow.
it penalizes enemy resistances. Waste Gate is a belt useful for builds using a single resource like Blood Magic or Archmage builds. With this belt, you can use 2 life flasks or 2 mana flasks. It's up to you. Now, we could go through these all day, but we'll leave most of them for you to discover. Suffice to say, though, we want there to be way more cool things to find.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
Over time, our goal is to add a unique to every single base item type at a minimum, so that you can chance any base in the game. Now, given that we have the Huntress, we have a set of unique spears from early game all the way through to end game as well. One example is Scyther's Spear, which combines bleed and fire in a powerful way. It allows your ignites to be aggravated, dealing substantially more damage.
That's cool.
We're also introducing a suite of unique bucklers with some interesting parry mechanics. Kalgyra's Arc, for example, allows you to parry projectiles from any distance. And we're also adding our first unique charms.
Holy crap.
Bayra's Anguish will not only protect you from Ignite, but will also emit a devastating Fire Nova whenever you do get ignited.
In sum, there's just a ton of new uniques to find.
So you can
Can't
kind of
wait
play
to see
around
the
that.
weird and broken builds that come out of it.
Now, we
So in Last Epoch, one of my favorite things to do was when you find these uniques that are game changing for your character. So you have a specific play style, and then you find this weird unique with this unique mechanic that completely changes the way you play your character, because you have to build around it sometimes. And this was always something that I found lacking in a sense in PoE. But mind you, in PoE 2, the new one. But mind you that this is they are adding content as we speak, so this is a new game. So this is cool to see that they thought about it, and they added a lot of new things.
also want to talk about crafting options.
Okay.
In each major update during early access, we'll be continuing to add and improve the options here. We have various new crafting tools that have been added as rewards to many of the different types of new content that we're adding. But for now, I just want to mention the changes to runes.
Right.
Runes add commonly available mods, but since they only have one tier, flat damage mods tend to get outclassed by in-game. So we've changed runes to have multiple tiers, allowing you to get higher tier mods than before.
Okay, that's
Our
cool.
plan is to significantly expand the number of more specialized mods for crafting using socketables as we add new content over time. And the first new set of those comes from what we're talking about next.
In Dawn of the Hunt, we're adding Asmarian Wisps, which can be found throughout both the campaign and the endgame.
What are those?
The Asmari spirit has made itself present in Rayclast, and it appears to be trying to warn, or maybe prepare us for the coming darkness. You will first
Okay.
encounter a manifestation of it in the Grellwood in Act 1, where you'll meet Delwyn, an Asmari hunter who is trying to find out what exactly is causing the spirit to behave this way. As you approach the wisp, it will flee, leading you past monsters. Any monsters it comes into contact with are infused by it, making them more powerful. Each spirit
Okay.
is associated with a specific revered animal within Asmari culture. This one is a wisp of the Great Bear, and grants enemies extra life and stun.
Okay.
The wisp moves faster the closer you are, and as you move away, they slow down to wait for you. But if you get too far away for too long, they'll
Oh, so it's
dissipate.
like a mechanic where it modifies instead of you having like you have the elites, right? You have like special monsters that have special buffs and things like that. And sometimes you have those frozen ones where you break the frozen enemy and just summons a bunch of stuff and you have to deal with it. And this stuff has specific buffs. But this is different. This is like something that moves through the map, has a path, and as it goes through that path and goes through enemies, applies specific modifiers to the enemies. Okay, well, what do we get from
Return to
those?
the woods. As you continue to chase the wisp, it will find and possess a rare or unique monster,
Okay.
granting it a new powerful ability. Because this was a wisp of the Great Bear, this monster now also has increased life and stun. But on top of that, it will periodically summon a large spectral bear that slams with wild fury.
Okay, so it has like
If you're able to defeat
the
this
abilities
foe,
of the
you will
wisp.
be rewarded. For each monster that was infused and killed along the way, the rewards will be increased.
Okay,
Each
that's
wisp
cool.
has its own
That's a cool
mechanics.
mechanic.
The Wisp of the Winter Owl is a primal wisp that causes enemies to deal extra cold damage, gain energy shield, and release wind vortices on death. When infusing a monster, they will call down large tornadoes to protect their host. The Wisp of the Wild Cat is a vivid wisp that causes affected monsters to deal more critical strikes and become more evasive. When it infuses
Is
a
this
monster,
like a
it will summon
League
barrage of
specific
feline spirits
mechanic,
that will
or
attempt to tear you limb from limb.
it's just a new mechanic?
If you're lucky, you may even find sacred wisps that can do some pretty crazy things to the monsters they influence. Like the Wisp of the Cunning Fox, which turns normal monsters into magics, magic monsters into rares, and rare monsters into actual bosses.
What? So we get a boss?
Asmarian Wisps can drop a new set of socketable items that allow you to craft a wide range of interesting new mods onto your items. Each one may only be used on a specific item slot. As mentioned, the Asmarian Wisps can be encountered throughout the game, but there's also a new endgame map called the Asmari Ranges, a mountain village where the Asmari once lived, now overrun with corrupt monsters.
Okay.
This map always has multiple Asmarian Wisps in it, and familiar, yet not quite the same boss fight. Asmarian Wisps can also be further modified by the endgame Atlas tree as well, and by tablets.
But
Okay.
I'm not going to be the one talking about those things. In order to cover all the new content in-game, I'm going to hand things
So
over
this
to
is
Mark.
this is a new end-game type of gun. Let me go to the beginning to see what this...
Which can be found throughout
Expand the number of more specialized mods for crafting using socketables as we add new content over time.
Okay.
And the first new set of those comes from what we're talking about next.
In Dawn of the Hunt, we're adding Asmarian Wisps, which can be found throughout...
So this is a new type of end-game mechanic. It's not just League specific, right? It's not... I assume, because you can modify through the Atlas tree, right? Asmari spirits in your maps have 50% increased area of effect. Slain Wisp infused monsters in your maps empower Asmari spirits to improve 25% faster. This is a whole new mechanic that they're adding to the game.
About with the endgame today, so let's dig right in. Path of Exile 2's early access began with a brand new endgame, and it was clear that it needed a lot of work.
Yeah, the maps. Right?
After absorbing your feedback, we're ready to make some epic changes.
Okay.
The first thing is, we just need a lot more content.
Yeah, it's a bit
In Dawn of
repetitive,
the Hunt,
right?
we have made sure to focus on increasing the sheer number of interesting and different encounters you will randomly stumble into as you explore the endgame.
Okay.
And the second goal is to smoothen the progression through maps and reduce the amount of annoying busy work. To start
cool.
with, let's talk about the new interesting stuff to find. Well, the most obvious thing to add are new maps. As well as the Asmari Ranges that Jonathan mentioned earlier, Dawn of the Hunt also contains 7 other new maps,
Okay.
all with their own custom encounters. Let's start with this one. The Feral Megaliths map starts off in the wild Ezomite forests. As you progress through the forest, you will find mysterious rune-carved stones that, when touched, surge with energy. After activating all the stones, you can find a grand henge, where all the energy is coalescing.
Okay.
You can then start an encounter. The area darkens,
Is it like a boss?
storm moves in, and a concentration of energy summons a dangerous boss.
Nice.
You must fight and defeat the boss to get its rewards. Once you have defeated it, summon another. And another. And another. And another.
What?
You have 10 total waves of boss fights which get incrementally more difficult.
Oh.
If you manage to defeat them,
like a boss
you get
rush.
full boss rewards, but also opportunities to get new runes. These can only be obtained
Okay.
from this map.
It's like a... Not really
The
a boss
Fractured
rush,
Lake
but, you know.
contains a surreal
waves of
waterscape with
bosses.
fractured mirror-like objects. As you move around the map, the terrain itself elevates from below,
What the
creating
hell?
the ground you walk on. In this
What
unique
is
map,
this
all the rare monsters are
fever
mirrored,
dream?
so you're always fighting 2 of the same rare at the same time, which can prove quite difficult.
Okay.
If you manage to overcome that challenge and make it to the end of the map, you'll be presented with a broken mirror, a powerful altar-like
kinda cool,
object
though.
that contains an item within it. The item contained within is a new base type, either an amulet or a ring, that
Right.
can be crafted to have additional prefixes or suffixes at the cost of the other. The last unique map we'll show today is one based around the essence mechanic. You enter a crystalline
Yeah,
cavern,
this is PoE 2.
and you will find a
This
powerful
is the new
map boss
mechanics
imprisoned in the
and
center.
content that is coming.
It is surrounded by many rare monsters,
Okay.
also imprisoned in essences. By freeing and defeating the rare monsters, The essence they held will be upgraded to a greater essence and be added to the imprisoned map boss. How brave are you? How many essences will you add to the boss?
Oh, because it
Overdo
empowers the
and you
boss,
might
right?
lose everything. Underdo it and you might regret it. It's your choice. Speaking of essences, alongside visual improvements, you're now able to apply Varlorbs to corrupt the essences with a range of unpredictable outcomes. It could increase the number of essences.
Oh, that is cool. You can
Reroll
apply
all the
them
essences
directly to the
type,
map.
Or even upgrade the essences to greater essences. What if they're already greater essences?
Was this a mechanic already?
Well,
Like, could you use currencies on stuff in map? And I didn't...
it can upgrade those too. We have 4 new corrupted essences. Essence of Hysteria, Delirium, Horror, and Insanity.
Right.
Each corrupted essence has its own interesting combat mechanics. For example, the essence of Insanity causes you to question even your own mind, as monsters split into shadowy clones, and you must locate the real one before a devastating icy explosion freezes everything around it.
Uh-oh.
Each of these has their own crafting outcomes. The essence of Insanity can be applied to a belt. It adds a mod that will ensure the next Varlorb used on the belt will guarantee adding 2 enchantments.
Oh, I see.
It's worth noting all the essences in the unique map can also be corrupted
There's just
too,
more options for crafting,
if you're willing to risk
essentially.
it. It's worth noting we have also added 10 extra Atlas passive points you can earn by completing 5 different unique maps.
Cool.
Now, new maps are just the beginning. We had a goal where we wanted to make sure you were constantly finding exciting new content and that it could be lurking around any corner. So, we have added a bunch of new things that you could stumble into in any map you run. On your travels, you will sometimes encounter rogue exiles. Others like you who have been exiled and are
That is
openly
cool.
hostile.
It's
Some
like-
are malicious, some are mad.
It's like the Nemesis, kind of like reminds me of the Nemesis system in Last Epoch, right?
While others are simply fiends for loot. They will challenge you, a fight to the death. They
That
use
is
the
cool.
same skills available to players, and even the same items. They aren't just dressed up in those items, they're actually using them. It's going to feel like a true player versus player situation. Of course, if you are able to slay these exiles,
That is
those
badass.
items will all drop on the ground.
Wait,
So if you encounter an exile using a powerful
what they actually use drops on the
or
ground?
valuable unique item, which you can see displayed under their life bar, you want to be damn sure you kill them. Because if they kill you and your party, they'll portal out, taking their items with them. Every fight will feel completely different depending on the items they
That
come
is
equipped
cool.
with. These exiles are much smarter than your regular monster. They have capabilities to dodge roll, avoid your abilities with smart pathfinding, smart targeting, and much more action-packed gameplay.
That is super cool.
Fortunately, they're like you, and they're not super durable. Unless, of course, they're wearing uniques like Calm's Heart, in which case, expect a longer battle. There are 12 different rogue exiles you can find, each with their own skills and personalities. Some may insult you, while others may admire your honor in combat.
That is very
Another
cool.
encounter you might stumble onto in Dawn of the Hunt are one of 4 new unique strongboxes.
Okay.
Strongboxes are chests with modifiers.
Yeah, and they
When
spawn
you try
monsters.
to open them, they activate traps and spawn waves of monsters that you must defeat to access the loot.
Okay.
Let's take a look at 2 of the new unique boxes that are harder to find and behave just a little bit differently. The Ogham's Legacy Strongbox has a corpse splayed out in front of the rune-carved stone. Upon interacting with the stone, you activate Forbidden Ezomite magic, which revives the monster as a powerful rare. The Strongbox comes with a modifier which determines how many times it will revive that rare. Each time you defeat the monstrosity, the Strongbox revives it again, adding an extra modifier to the monster. With each resurrection, it becomes more difficult, but also more rewarding. This Strongbox is infused with
That's cool.
thaumaturgy from ancient Vaal technology. Eshell's Torment has a powerful artifact
Oh,
inside,
you use the
and is guarded by
identification,
chaos itself.
the scrolls, right?
Defeating
Too.
the monsters will grant you a unique item with a specific corrupted outcome. You'll have to find the other 2 for yourself to see what they do. Now, let's talk about the introduction to the endgame. Upon starting the endgame, Doriani tasks you with cleansing corruption to help restore the land. However, in practice, the quest objective just sent you on a grind to clear 15 maps.
Yeah.
We wanted to make the quest to unlock your Atlas passives much more interesting. Now, Doriani is tasking you with a more specific objective. On the Atlas, you will find areas of corruption caused by the beast.
Okay.
In the center of each one, you will find a corrupted nexus, the source of the affliction. In
Makes
the
sense.
areas leading up to the nexus, you will notice that corruption spills out from slain enemies and amalgamates into powerful monsters. Corrupted maps existed on the Atlas before, but we've done significant work on improving these monsters.
This is cool.
We've also
merge
done a full pass on the modifiers on these
more
maps
powerful.
to make them more interesting and more rewarding. Once you reach the nexus, you will have a new task: cleanse the source of corruption.
Okay.
When you defeat
sense.
the last rare in those maps, they will spawn one of 3 terrifying bosses, amalgamations of corruption itself. After defeating that boss, Doriani will come and cleanse the corruption for good. As the remains of the boss are purged of corruption, it coalesces into raw crystallized power, which you can use to gain points for your Atlas passive skill tree. The upgrade system that allows you to add and enhance content in your
Okay.
maps.
That is cool.
We didn't stop there though. When you complete a corrupted nexus, all of the remaining surrounding corrupted maps will become cleansed maps. Cleansed maps also have new monsters, a new boss,
It changes the type of
and
maps.
their own set of modifiers and rewards, including finding fracturing
Okay,
orbs by
that's
slaying
cool
cleansed
because it's no
enemies.
longer like this doing the same thing over and over. The maps
These
you
orbs
choose to
can be
do
used in crafting on a
modify
rare
the
item
maps
to
you
cause
have
one of its
available as well.
modifiers to become
Like the
fractured.
area.
A fractured modifier is one that cannot be modified by any means. You are able to freely modify the item, ensuring the fractured modifier will never change. If you get the right item with the right mod, it can prove to be a very powerful crafting base indeed. You must now choose. Do you complete all the corrupted maps and then the Nexus?
I'll go
Or
for the
maybe
Nexus
you beeline to the Nexus,
and
complete
do
it,
the
and
clear
do all the
clear
remaining
ones.
maps cleansed.
Yeah, that's what I was
Both
saying.
have rewards to entice you and challenge.
Yeah, but depending on how you clean these, you have different paths towards different goals, right? So it's kind of cool. I like it. It's not just doing maps because doing maps, you know, has an extra layer
to
to it.
assess. Now, let's have a talk about towers.
Yeah.
One thing we've had a lot of feedback on is the busy work around running towers and managing your tablets. The first change we've made here is that we have reduced the number of towers drastically, so there are now 1/3 as many as before, but we've made them much more powerful.
Okay.
To start with, tablets now inherently add twice as many mechanics, but that's not all. Running higher tier maps and towers now increases the number of mechanics applied by tablets. By tier 15, the bonus is double, allowing a single tablet to now add 4 times as many mechanics as before. So, we're running far fewer towers, dealing with fewer tablets,
But
and
it has
affecting
more
even
impact.
more maps than before.
Yeah.
But because there are fewer towers overlapping with each other, you won't get as many opportunities to stack different tablets. In order to solve this, we've made it so that each
What
tower can
towers?
consume up to 3 tablets at once. You always get 1 slot on completing the tower, but if you can complete a tower with more mods on the waystone, you can unlock a 2nd or 3rd slot. Overall, this allows for even more juicing from towers, while drastically reducing the amount of busy work you have to do.
Yeah, you don't have to
On
just
top of that,
run the same
towers
shit
are
over
much
and
more
over again,
interesting
right?
maps because they can now spawn with all mechanics, including
Okay,
bosses.
that's cool.
Each tower map has a new boss. Let's take a look at a couple here. The boss fight of the Alpine Ridge map has 2 powerful witches contesting for territory. One witch has an affinity for ice,
That is
the other
cool.
fire. Who will win? Hopefully neither.
Hopefully us, right? Hopefully the
The
players.
boss of the Sinking Spire map is a remnant of the Val that has been charged with lightning. It uses a full suite of lightning abilities. But be careful.
I like
if
the
any
design.
of them hit the surrounding constructs, they will power up. Another thing that we've seen a lot of feedback about
He
is
powers up the
sustaining
statues?
waystones. As we looked into it, we realized that the people who couldn't sustain waystones were dying a lot. A lot more than we had expected. And that made us realize something. During the campaign, the expectation is that you can die multiple times in order to learn how to overcome challenges. You are able to learn how the monsters behave,
Not-
adapt to their skills.
This I do like. Okay, one of the things, I played hardcore, right? From the get-go, and we died like a couple of times. But that made me more aware of well, the different mechanics between different areas and the monsters that inhabit those areas. So that's quite cool. And I was always hesitant to proceed before observing all the monsters, so to speak, because you kind of need to get a feeling for what you're getting into, right? We decided this should get good, kind of.
And eventually overcome them. But as soon as you get to the end game, you're effectively no longer allowed to die if you want to sustain waystone.
That's true, yeah.
By the time you are getting towards the end of endgame, we want you to have to be careful not to die. But it certainly shouldn't be that we have such a sudden shift as you run your first maps. The first change we're making is you can now respawn and return to a map if you die. Continuing from where you left off. When you start the endgame, you get up to 6 total attempts per map. As you add more modifiers to a waystone, the number of respawns goes down. This means that as you get to the point that you're running every waystone...
So I see. So the more you modify, the more you customize it, the less attempts you get. So because you're getting more rewards. So it's harder, but you're getting more rewards, but you chose to do it, right? The agency to do this is on you. You chose to make it more difficult. That's interesting.
As a rare,
interesting take.
You will have to be more careful.
Yeah. So if you want to be efficient, of course, if you want to be super efficient, of course you'll develop this sixth sense for what makes sense, what can you endure, will you die or not. If you're playing hardcore, there's no GG, right? It doesn't really matter. But you develop this sense of the risks you can take.
Everyone gets to respawn that number of times. But we still think it's important that you can kill a boss in one go. In order to allow that to happen, we've made a change so that once you start the boss fight, it changes over to the same respawning system we use for pinnacle bosses. This means that the map owner can choose to respawn everyone at the same time.
Okay.
Another complaint we've seen a lot of is players not wanting to do the pinnacle content because of the experience penalty from dying. A change we've made here is that all pinnacle content now no longer grants experience, but also no longer removes experience on death either.
Okay, so you do it for the rewards, not the
first batch of Twilight
the other
Order
rewards, not the
reliquary keys
XP.
from the early access supporter packs.
What
These
is it,
keys
sorry?
contain items selected by our batch of Twilight Order reliquary keys. Another complaint we've seen a lot of is players not wanting to do the pinnacle content because of the experience penalty from dying.
Yeah, no, not that.
Here is that all pinnacle now no longer grants experience, but also no longer removes experience on death either.
Okay, so you do it for the rewards. We'll establish
Dawn of
that.
the Hunt also brings the first batch of Twilight Order reliquary keys from the early access supporter packs.
Okay.
These keys contain items selected by our supporters. They can contain any unique item found in Path of Exile 2. If the selected item is a pinnacle boss drop, then only special keys dropped by this content will be able to provide these items. For example, Hand of Wisdom in action can only come from a key dropped by Zesht.
Okay.
We're also making a change that allows pinnacle boss uniques to drop at any difficulty. Rarer uniques will be rarer at lower difficulties, but still possible to find. This applies to the drop chances for the reliquary keys from this content as well. We spoke about towers and tablets earlier, but we have also added a suite of unique tablets.
Okay.
Each of these adds crazy interactions to the maps influenced by it. For example, this unique tablet allows you to run any map in a tower's radius without requiring connections, which can be quite useful for jumping gaps and traveling around your atlas.
That is cool.
And this tablet causes all runic monsters spawned during expedition encounters to be duplicated, and weakens all expedition monsters that emerge from the ground. The Atlas tree has also been expanded, and you can find many of the new mechanics there, and improvements to existing ones too.
I don't think
Now through this livestream we have mentioned quite a few new craft.
I don't think that people have legit complaints now that they're not adding enough content. Like, come on, the early access has been like up for what, 3 months? And look at the amount of stuff that they added on one patch. This is
options
massive,
that we've added.
right?
New runes, corrupted essences, fractured mods, and jewelry crafting bases. But we did have just one more crafting system to talk about.
And that crafting system is the top of the hour ad break that you can bypass if you use your currency, which is your subscription or your Prime sub as well, which is like Prime sub is like the Val corrupted equivalent of that, right? Which is free to avoid the top of the hour ad break.
Recombination. Expedition was the only in-game mechanic
So that we
was
can
lacking a
avoid the
crafting
bridge
system.
plan.
So that needed to change. Recombination is a mechanic that might be familiar to some
Because
players.
otherwise I can't afford my
It allows
coffee.
you to merge
How
two
will I
items
afford my
together,
coffee, right?
hoping to get the best elements of each on a single new item. This new crafting bench will be unlocked as you complete your first expedition.
Oh, wait. Wait.
And requires artifacts found.
Wait.
It allows you to merge
Recombination crafting
so
system.
that needed to change.
Okay.
Recombination is a mechanic that might be familiar to some players.
Yeah.
It allows you to merge two items together, hoping to get the best elements of each on a single new item.
That is
This
cool.
new crafting bench will be unlocked as you complete your first expedition. And
That is like the that's also like the mechanic they had this previously, right, on PoE 1. Am I something similar? Am I misremembering it? I haven't played it in a while, so but they had something similar in Last Epoch as well, where you could combine the stats and you hope for the stats to be the best of the both worlds. But if you have two really good items, you use that all the time. And never forget to recombine these. Okay.
requires artifacts found during expeditions to fuel it.
Okay.
The rarer the mods on the item you are combining, the more expensive the cost. That wraps up all the major in-game changes we're talking about today.
Okay.
With all the system changes and new content, we can't wait to get in there, start blasting maps, and obliterating monsters. There is one more thing we wanted to clarify before we move on, which is that all the content we've talked about today will be made available in the existing early access leagues, so you can play your existing characters.
That is cool.
However, there will be new leagues made for those who wish to start in a fresh economy. It is recommended to start over and get the full new experience in the Dawn of the Hunt leagues.
Okay,
For
that's
all
cool.
our existing early access players, we're really looking forward to joining you playing in this new update. For those who don't already have access and are interested in playing Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt, you are able to at any time purchase an early access supporter pack at www.pathofexile2.com.
There's all the prices.
Additionally, the Paladin and Penance supporter packs are now available to purchase in Path of Exile 2 and contain 6 microtransactions each and the full pack's face value in points. All the microtransactions contained within these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Good. So much content that we have to try out. Hello? Did you like the video? If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, press the... If you have the bell, press the bell. Otherwise, you know, you don't get the juicy stuff next time. Is this how you do it? What do you mean, no? Oh, also, love your face. Bye. Bye. Click the things.